In this episode, we're going to travel to the tip of Cape Melville in a simply stunning visual drive. We will also take a side diversion to a hidden freshwater creek running out of the Boulder Mountains. Before we do, however, let's pick up where episode 5 left off. So Maddie, Arch, and I thought we'd sit down and just share with whoever cares to understand what we carry in terms of rescue gear, in terms of communications gear, and in terms of mapping gear. What I carry is a rescue swag as well as a smaller first aid kit. But the rescue swag is a limb immobilizer as well as a small first aid kit. So basically, inside of the kit itself, it's got 3 components. It's got one for major injuries, it's got one for minor injuries, and it's got another one for burns and abrasions and things like that. Snake bites, that sort of stuff, exactly. But that wraps up and it doubles as a swag, a sling for a swag. So you can either immobilize your limb, or you can use it as a sling for your arm. Enough.
And you wish you had one when you dislocated your shoulder.
I do, yeah. I came off on my bike in the Simpson Desert, and for a sling I used a ratchet strap, and that would have been a lot more comfortable, I could tell you. We also have a first aid kit in the car, which is not too dissimilar from Matt's, which I'll go into shortly. I haven't used it yet, which is a good thing, but it contains everything that we need. So what do you carry, Maddie?
Tara, I'm running a survival first aid kit. They're a good all-rounder for the size of them, and obviously when we're travelling, space in the car is a premium.
Absolutely.
You know, but this one here, as you can see, it folds out, and it's got a fair range of stuff. What I do like about it, everything's labelled.
Nice.
So when you have got an injury, normally a little bit of panic station set in, and you're going, what is where and whatever. But CPR kit, pressure bandages, you know, like everything is labelled, which is good. You know, it is quite extensive, you know, for what you get. Like you, Ter, I haven't had to use it yet.
Excellent.
They even have a little first aid book.
Yep.
So if you're not first aid trained, and we are all first aid trained, you know, it's something that we do in our everyday business.
Professions and lives, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got half an idea, you know, we're no, you know, paramedics by any stage or form, but
No.
we know our basic first aid.
Right, so now we're going to talk about comms and emergency comms.
Yeah, the last 3 or 4 trips we've been running the sat phone. It's the Inmarsat. It's a fairly old one. It's actually my dad's and hasn't let us down. And like I spoke about earlier, we had to put a call through on the sat phone to order some parts for Phil's truck, and that's what's got us an alternator coming out here this afternoon.
And what sort of things did we do, mate, to share with family and friends before we left?
You know, we've all got family, extended family that are obviously monitoring our travels and worrying about us and all that. So phone goes on between 5 and 5:30 every day. So if they need to send us a message, they can do that. And as soon as we turn the phone on, we get the message. You know, if we have to ring home, etc., etc. We've had to do that in previous trips where we've needed to get some important news to us. What we do is we simply send through just a welfare message, you know, to one of our kids, and they've got a group set up on Messenger that just basically sends out to all extended family, close family, extended family, that where we are and we're all okay. So we've only got to put the one text through, and that's how it works, and it works quite efficiently.
It's brilliant. And the fact that everybody knows that we have that phone on between 5 and 5:30, if they do want to contact us, they know when they can do it, at what time of day. And sat phone to sat, there's a moderate delay.
Yes,
yeah, so
you can't talk over one another. That's the big thing. With a normal phone you can, these things you can't.
Yeah. Cool. Exactly, and this isn't the sat phone bloody review or anything like that. It just shows what we use
carry.
To communicate. And what I carry on top of that is a personal locator beacon or an EPIRB. And these things are dead simple to use. You open up the antenna, you rip off the little bandage, and you hit the button, and that sends a signal out, an emergency beacon signal to emergency services. And I have actually used that in the past. I was walking in Alice Springs on the Larapinta Trail, and a fella had fallen over and severed off his pinky, and he couldn't walk out. So we set that sucker off, and it was at nightfall, and the rescue choppers couldn't fly at night, but the following morning on daylight we could see him, and he started doing this search pattern back and forth. He was getting closer and closer, zigging, zagging. You're meant to test that every so often. I do it about every 6 months, and you need to re-register your personal details on that every single year. They send you an email and basically says, hey, this is up for renewal, re-register. Doesn't cost anything, but it just makes sure that all your personal details are accurate and current and up to date. And that's the extent of our comms, apart from car-to-car UHF, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's that. And I guess that's probably a good segue then into our mapping systems and what we use in terms of mapping. And Arch is going to spend a little bit of time and share with everybody what we do from a mapping point of view.
Yeah, we're currently running 3 different mapping programs. Probably a little bit difficult to see, but we're using a HEMA program, Explorer Oz Traveller.
That's it.
And Terry's also got Oz Topo offline, which gives us satellite imagery, live satellite imagery of where we are as well, which gives us much more detail of some of the tracks. The Explorer Oz Traveller has a lot more detail. It's got a lot of tracks that the HEMA doesn't have, but unfortunately some of those tracks are very old. So we've come unstuck a couple of times over the last few days where we've wanted to go somewhere down a track, and the track just doesn't exist, or it hasn't been used for such a long time and very overgrown. And luckily most of our cars are wrapped, but they're going to cop a lot of polishing when they get home to try and get rid of the scratches. The HEMA has more detail in some respect, but the Explorer Oz Traveller has more detail in other respects. So between the 3 of them, I think we're doing pretty good and getting a fairly good idea of where we're going, or where we want to go, or where we'd like to go. Might not always get there, but between the 3 of them, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't think there is one mapping program that's all-encompassing, that gives you everything that you need or would want.
The biggest thing for me is knowing where I am. You know, if you're in the middle of the scrub and you've got no idea on where you are and what direction you're heading, it's a little bit daunting, I would find, but I can quickly glance at the map, you know, whether it's HEMA or the Oz, you know, because I'm running both. I know exactly where I am. I know that track from that point to that point is X amount of kilometres. I know at this speed when I'm going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's it's reassuring, I find.
Yeah. And a lot of the tracks aren't marked, so you have to use a map to find where you are, a live tracking map, because you may have 3 or 4 tracks in front of you and don't know which fork to take. So you could end up in the wrong direction for hours and hours and not even know you're going in the wrong direction.
And in terms of cost, they're all much of a muchness in terms of price, aren't they? Around that $100 mark?
$120 mark for the app.
Yep.
Yeah, reasonable price and very good value.
You know, if you didn't want to spend the $300 on all 3, if I was only going to buy one, I'd probably go with the Oz Traveller, the Explorer Oz Traveller. And if I was going to go with 2, I'd probably back that up with the satellite one.
Yep.
And then HEMA would be my 3rd one in that order.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the Oz Traveller. It's only new for me. You've had it for a little while now. I got it just for this trip. I've always run HEMA. Just put it out there, we paid full price for all this sort of stuff. I do like HEMA, how they give you a kilometre range from one point to another.
Yes, they're all good applications.
So with Explorer Oz, there's a facility there for you to give updates when you get back. So at the moment we're offline, so we're actually making comments on tracks and places that don't exist anymore. So when we get back, we'll send that back and see. Hopefully they can update the map so that someone else doesn't get sent down a dead end track like we did.
On a number of occasions. And while we're on the subject of navigation, we have actually used this little guy a couple of times. That's a DJI Mavic Pro. I think they're probably about $1,500 now or so, but you can pick them up secondhand a lot cheaper. But sometimes, if we have been a little bit lost and we're looking for the track and we can't see it from the ground, we can throw the drone up, and sometimes you can actually pick it from the air. The other times we've used the drones is looking for a campsite, particularly out in the Simpson Desert, when we're just in the middle of scrub and we're like, geez, there could just be an amazing campsite over the next June, but you just don't know. You can throw the drone up and have a quick look, and if there's something, you can go there, and if there's nothing, you pull up stumps and grab yourself a beer.
What sort of range has it got there?
Mate, that will fly about a maximum of 7 kilometers and to a maximum height of 500 meters, and that's actually Australian law. It's illegal to fly any higher, and they're locked out. The software or the firmware locks you out, so you can't fly higher. They are a handy little navigation device as well. Obviously, most people use them, and I do as well, for simply photography, because they're a brilliant little unit for a photography point of view. but they do have a location and mapping applications as well. So just another tool in the toolkit, I guess.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Cool. Well, I think that's probably got us pretty much wrapped up. It's pretty close to beer o'clock, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, all this talking, I'm getting a bit thirsty.
Absolutely. And all this thinking. We're on holidays. Yeah, close to 3:30, a little past 3:30, and the scooters are here, pulling up through the swamp at the moment.
There they go. There goes Go.
Hello!
Bit sloppy in there. I was broadside, mate.
We've had some big tides.
We've had some real big tides. So yeah, it's nice sloppy salt water. Hello, young Cody.
Harry.
How are you, buddy?
Good. Yourself?
Awesome, matey.
Hey, good to be here.
Good track.
Yeah.
Good fun, eh?
It was good.
Right, this is a top spot. You guys will love it. Hey, Brock. How are you, buddy?
How are you, mate?
Good.
to see you.
How you
Hey,
going?
Miles. Good to see you, my friend.
Had to give it a bit through the mangroves. I was slipping.
Oh, shit. Don't go down.
Power steering bad.
Oh, really?
That's bad. Yeah, I think I've blown a power steering line maybe, or it's,
Or it's leaking.
yeah,
So you got, is it gone completely?
it went completely on the Krebs track.
Yeah. Jacob! How are ya?
I'm good, how are you?
Awesome. How come the window's down?
Aircon.
Good to see you, matey.
Good to see ya.
Hakeem!
How are you, Terry?
Awesome. How are you, bud?
Yeah, good.
Good to see ya.
Made it here.
Yeah. What'd you think coming in?
Yeah, it was fun.
Awesome,
Yeah,
eh?
it was good fun.
Daniel.
How are you, mate? Hopefully we've left a few fish in the bay for you, mate.
I knew you bloody cleaned them all out.
Oh, we can't put any more in our fridges.
Oh, really? What are they?
We think they're salmon. But you might argue the point with us.
How are you?
Well, that looks pretty bloody close, doesn't
looks
it?
good. That looks
That
good.
looks good.
That's a box of gold there, Philip.
That
Just
is
spinning
indeed.
and putting the same.
Everything there, that's right.
I think we're on a winner.
What do you reckon, Phil?
I'm happy.
It's been a lot of stressful moments for poor Phil.
Oh, mate, waking up in the morning and the battery's flat and you got nothing to food. I had to freeze everything defrosted out of the freezer, so I had to swap it all in one fridge.
Yeah, so what we did was we've obviously isolated. Phil's got 3 batteries, and we had one solar on the start battery, and we brought that back up. And then once that's up, we've joined both panels together, been giving him 10 amps constant, and it's actually brought his deep cycle battery in the back up from flat.
Yeah, up to nearly 13 volts.
Yeah, it's nearly running 13 volts with the fridge running.
I didn't bring a spare mirror for you, Bill.
And hear about that
Don't
one
talk
too.
about the mirror. It's a bit
No,
touchy
no.
about the mirror.
No,
Talk about the mirror.
no amount of wrap would have fixed the
Maybe
mirror.
we
Look
should
at
have
that.
used
Right, T? Yep. Plop him in.
You disconnected the battery again?
Yeah, power's off.
Push him down or wiggle him
No,
down?
It's in situ.
Okay.
They're both finger tight. They can just stay finger tight until I get the belt on.
Okay. Alternator's in. Batteries are hooked up. Ready to hit the key.
Checked it when I got in, I'll check it again.
Holy dooly, what's happening here?
And we're cooking dinner for the crew.
Wow.
We've got probably, 3-4 kilos of
I reckon.
Fish.
Easy.
We're going to cook that up for everyone.
Look at it. Oh,
Big cook
There's
up for
still
everyone.
plenty of
nice.
stuff in
We've
there.
been eating fish for days.
I know, it's
So good.
All good.
Good job, Arch and Sharon.
Beautiful.
Big feed for everyone. How many people tonight? 15 people. And we'll probably have leftovers for lunch. Nummy, nummy. No, no, no. Arch is on to the next batch. Bit flour.
Flour.
Nice.
Oh, you got the garlic salt.
Found the garlic salt.
Yeah, I only do little bits at a time. Otherwise
Sharon's
I'll go.
using the garden scissors to chop up the meat.
I'm not a fish eater, and this stuff is to die for.
Amazing.
We've been eating fish for days.
Fish for days.
We have. We thought we might get gout, but we haven't yet. So
Not yet.
no.
Not just yet.
Is it threadfin salmon? You reckon?
Yeah, definitely threadfin salmon, 100%.
Cool.
Really good, isn't it?
Very good.
Look at that.
That's delicious. The ones we get in the Brizzy River.
What do you reckon, Ash?
Good.
It's good. Mmm. Would you say the Brisbane River? You want to go to the Brisbane River? And we have this out here.
Bit different.
That's the king.
Jacob. Oh. Nice, Brock.
So what do they be, like a meter
Good.
long?
All good.
Not
Not a bad catch. Yes. Jeez.
The king was throwing them back at the end.
Well, I think there's plenty.
I know. He was hooking them, throwing them back, hooking them, throwing them back.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, we're just leaving Cape Melville on Friday 27th.
We're going to get bogged.
Just got to get out of the camp because it is been big tides. We're going to go for it.
We're out.
That's how you steer her, boys. All right.
Yeah, we're across out of the car. Repacking the back of the car.
That sounded awesome, Terry.
Fox not his friend there.
We're now heading north towards Cape Melville proper. Just going through a little freshwater creek. We got the boot scooters with us. They're going to spend the night with us, one more night, and then they're going to head off north towards the tip, and we're probably going to go towards Bathurst Bay. But all things going well tonight, we're going to be camping at Ninian Bay, which is still in Cape Melville. We're just doing a little bit of a side diversion now out to the actual Cape Melville proper. A deep little hole here. You might scrape your bum a little bit, Arch. I did.
Just stopped just around the corner, and here's old Mr. Lizard. He's taken off now. He was digging a hole in the side of the track.
Any tyre tracks in front of you, Matt? Yeah, mate, quite a few. They're not super fresh, but you can still see tread patterns. Right turn at the Nukawi day use area. Long way for a day trip. Yeah, 2 weeks to be exact.
There's the tip of Cape Melville proper just in front of us. And it's those big bouldery rock mountains mountains that come right down to the sea line or the ocean shore. It is just stunning. A nice little four-wheel drive track to get out here. Maybe about 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers from Crocodile Camp Junction. We're going to continue to drive north as far as we can until the track ends, which will be pretty bloody close to Cape Melville, I would think. Going across a little inlet thing.
Keep going, mate. I'll come behind you.
It's all salt water, so we just want to idle across it, no splashing. So that's it, the last run to the tip of Cape Melville. On March 14th, 1945, a U.S. Air Force C-47 Douglas Dakota left Rocky bound for Morotai. It encountered bad weather and the crew decided to turn back. The Dakota ran low on fuel and was forced to ditch into Bathurst Bay, only 60 miles short of Cooktown. 2 days later, a Mariner flying boat was ordered to proceed to Bathurst Bay and commence a search. The Mariner found the Dakota wrecked about 20 yards offshore and partly submerged by the incoming tide. The Mariner landed and anchored near the aircraft wreck. The captain of the C-47 rowed out to the flying boat in a rubber dinghy and informed his rescuers that of the 22 persons who had been on board the C-47, 16 had bailed out. The crew and 4 of the passengers remained on board during the forced landing. Of those who had bailed out, 1 was never found, and it's presumed that his parachute failed to open.
I was saying to Phil, have a look, it's all pop riveted together.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
It's rivets.
Would that be a wing, and those are the wing tanks? I bet.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. We're enjoying a history lesson. Came showing a line in. Very close to the tip of Cape Melville now. We just passed that plane wreck and we're running on a beach, so pretty close.
At your left, we came, there's something swirling up there.
Very close to the end of the line now. You could not do this on high tide, so we're driving below the high tide mark.
Stopping this shit.
Still a defined wheel tracks out here, so we're certainly not the first. Just about the end of the line here, eh, Arch?
I think this is it by the look of it. Can't go any further. That's just rocks. Looks like it. Good place for a beer. Little one right beside us here.
Here we are at the very tip of Cape Melville. Awe-inspiring.
Oh, you can do it. You're doing it. Come on. Yes. He's up there.
Just been to the end of Cape Melville, just heading back. All the cars are in front. Lucky it's low tide going out, so we've plenty of time to get back down the beach.
When we get back to that main drag tomorrow, do you reckon there's going to be a fuel stop close by? Musgrave is going to be your closest fuel. What are you sitting on, Jacob? Just dropped under half on my main tank, and I know that Miles is going to need my spare cherry of fuel. Would you have a rough idea on how far Musgrave is at all, man? Stand by. Mate, no more than 200 k's. Yeah, from here, and that's probably being a bit generous too. Alright, thanks very much for looking that up.
Well, we've been to the tip of Cape Melville and it was just freaking spectacular. So if you can get out there, do it. You won't be disappointed. We're gonna now go back to near Crocodile Camp, a couple K from Crocodile Camp. There's a little waterfall that comes out of these rocky hills. We're gonna have a swim in the fresh water there and maybe recommission if we can get water. And here's our little saltwater crossing coming up.
Where the croc slides were.
Yep, exactly.
We've just been up to the tip of Cape Melville and now we're just making our way back to the waterfall. Cody and Akeem in front of us.
How's the temperature, gents?
Oh, it's
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. There you go.
You squeal like a little bitch, Terry.
Squeal like a bitch.
It's not that cold actually, not here.
Oh. Is that fresh or what?
Mate, that is awesome.
Oh, hello.
All right, who's next?
No one else is that foolish.
Oh, it is nice.
You just need more blubber, mate. That's how whales can swim in the Antarctic.
Actually, put your swimmers on and on. You can't not go in there. Yeah, I can. Get it to the chain. I can definitely do that.
Not long after our swim, we headed back to the beach at Crocodile Camp. We then swung south down the main track heading in and out of Melville before turning due east and heading towards Ninian Bay, a place none of us had been before. We're on the four-wheel drive track out to Ninian Bay in Cape Melville. And we're probably only about a quarter of the way into it. Not used very often at all. There's the coast.
We just arrived at Ninian Bay. So this is all exciting, it's all new, never been here before.
Cody's Beach Tours.
We're just poking our way down to the beach.
The beach at Ninian Bay. Hello, beach. Hello, bay.
Oh, what happened, Mr. Drifter?